So folks, it's a beautiful day out here. Thought I'd fire up the LSG there behind us. Stick around to see what's coming next. Barbecue Rockstar up in just one moment. Stick around. Okay guys, so today what I thought we would do is cook a couple of these. These are what you call tri-tip, right? So these are off the sirloin, right? These are USDA Prime Angus, very high quality. My buddy Jody Matheson hooked us up with these beautiful cuts of meat. I mean, I can tell you these are going to be absolutely gorgeous. Nice little fat cap on the top. I'm going to score that so that I can render it better, but I'm not going to really remove much unless it feels hard. And I know it won't render, but most of that should render. And we're going to cook this to an internal temperature of about 135 degrees. Should give us a nice medium rare consistency. So let's get these out to the grill. Well, let's season them up first, then get them out to the grill. Let's see what we can do with these beautiful cuts of meat. Here we go. This is how we get the beast fired up, kids, right there. Little chimney, got a little wax paraffin little starter at the bottom there. Got our old coals from last cook down there, if you can see those. All I did was shake off the ash. The pecan wood really makes a nice coal once you smoke it off. You choke it off actually, and makes really good charcoal for your next cook. So be back in a minute. Okay guys, so we've got these tri-tips cleaned up, trimmed up. There was not a whole lot of fat to take off of them. I did take a little bit of fat off, not very much at all. I treat this a lot like a brisket, but I did score it, and man, I gotta tell you, this thing is really tender. I'll tell you what, this thing, it's just really acting nice. So here's what we're gonna do, okay? So I make my own little way of doing this here. I use Worcestershire sauce as a binder. A lot of people do, a lot of people don't. That's fine, whatever your preference is. I use Worcestershire sauce because it is a natural umami flavor for beef. It's really lends itself well to a good deep flavor, you know, especially at longer cooks like this one's gonna be. This is gonna go about 2 hours, I think, to get to the optimum temperature of, like I said, about 135 degrees. But we'll just see how the smoke is rolling, and we'll make our determination then. So, like I said, we just rub it all down, get all of our sides and our corners. Now what I do is I make up my own rub, okay? Now, normally on beef, I would just do kosher salt and cracked black pepper. Today, we're gonna do a little something special for you guys. And this is basically, my #1 shout out right now is gonna be to East Coast Slots. Murray, you know what I'm talking about. Today, folks, not only am I gonna do salt and pepper, I'm gonna do salt, pepper, garlic, and we're going to add a couple of other spices in there. We're gonna add an organic chipotle powder for a little bit of zing, and for a little earthiness, we're gonna add a little organic espresso spice in there as well. And all we're gonna do, folks, just like a brisket, we're going to be pretty liberal on the application of this meat. I'm gonna cook this fat side down just like I do my briskets. Why do I do that? So heat always comes from the bottom of my smoker, and it circulates around. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cook these things fat side down to protect the meat. And also too, that serves as, later on, I can come back and spritz it. When my bark has developed, I can spritz it and cover the lean side of the meat with the spritz to help protect it before I go to wrap it. If I cooked it fat side up, how am I gonna spritz the lean side of the meat? All I've got is the fat side. It doesn't need any help because that fat should render down. It's been proven that fat doesn't render down into the meat near as much as what people might think. It rolls off of the meat. So if you cook it fat side up, you're robbing yourself of opportunities to spritz your lean side where you really need the protection most. So that's why I prefer to do mine fat side down. But your mileage may differ, and folks, do what you like to do. Don't do it my way, do it your way. I'm just showing you how I do it. And remember, this is a sirloin cut, so it's very lean, and although it is prime Angus, It's not gonna have, say, even as much intermuscular fat as a prime brisket would have. This is like a New York strip, basically, when you talk about intermuscular fat. There's just not a lot of it. But beefy flavor, folks, let me tell you, it just gets no better than tri-tip. I will tell you, this is my first tri-tip experience. I've never cooked tri-tip before. I have sold a lot of tri-tip in my earlier days when I used to be a meat purveyor here in Dallas. I covered 5 states, so I traveled all over the country, really, Southwest, selling exotic game, you know, wild game and high-end meats like this. I've just never actually personally cooked any. So today we're gonna go through this together and just see what happens. So we're going to let this sweat in. If you guys watching this video, you already know what sweating in means, so I'm not gonna belabor the point. We're just gonna let that sweat in and we'll be back to you in just a moment. Okay guys, we're out here at the smoker. We're rolling along at about 250 degrees. Let's go ahead and put these bad boys on there. Now these, like I said, these are very, very, very lean cuts of meat. So I'm going to put, you see that little tip part? I don't want that to burn. So I'm gonna put the bigger part toward the smoke itself, toward the firebox. Thusly, okay? I'm gonna pat that down. And we're going to, and again, we're doing this fat cap down, guys. Fat cap down. It's gonna help to protect your meat. And we're gonna let these go for about, let those go for about an hour. We're gonna come back and check them and see where we're at, see if it's time to spritz or not. Be back with you in a moment. Okay guys, we're checking our fire here. Everything's going along good. You got some peach wood in there, and you got a little pecan wood in there. We're just gonna close her off here. And she will recover back to the 250 mark like we had her before. See y'all in a bit. Anna, do you like to barbecue? Are you my little barbecue girl? Do you like to barbecue with daddy? You like to eat barbecue, don't you? Okay guys, so we are about 2.5 hours into the cook. We have seasoned up our tri-tips. We have let them come to room temp. We put them on. We let them go for about 1 hour and 10 minutes. We spritzed them. We spritzed them again every 15 minutes for 3 different times. So we spritzed them 3 times over the course of 45 minutes. Now it's time to wrap. See what we got here. See what we're working with here. I've got my foil here, and as you guys know, I cook these on the fat side down, and I want to show you what that gives you. That renders that fat. You can see that. Oh yeah, babe, this thing is really, really tender. So just like I cook them fat side down, I'm going to go ahead and put them in foil fat side down. Now here's where the butter comes in, guys. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and put some butter pads on here. What this is gonna do is this is gonna create a little bit of a sauce base. As we wrap these, they're going to, it's gonna steam in there is what we want it to do and tender up. I think we're gonna go ahead and cook this like a brisket. We're gonna bring the internal temperature to about 203, 204, somewhere in there, okay? So we're gonna go ahead and spritz this again. Where's my spritz? Here it is, off camera, of course. We're gonna go ahead and hit this a little bit more spritz. And remember guys, this is so lean of a piece of meat. We wanna keep as much moisture in there as we can to help create our sauce. So let's go ahead and wrap this guy up. Guys, keep in mind, I've never actually cooked a tri-tip roast before, okay? But meat is meat, right? And we understand the principles of how meat breaks down over time. The proteins break down, the collagens break down, the interconnective tissue and the intermuscular fat breaks down, and it kind of bastes this. So we're gonna put this guy back on. Let's go ahead and put him up here for now. We're gonna grab this next one out of here. Oh, that's hot. Oh, that's beautiful, guys. That is, and the smell, if you don't have smellophone, smellotube, or whatever they call that, you really should get on to whoever's in charge of all that and demand that you guys get smell-o-vision, because folks, this is just phenomenal. So we've got our butter pads on there. I'm gonna go ahead and again spritz this down and keep as much moisture in there as we can. Now remember that vinegar in there, although it is diluted, will actually give a acidic bite to the sauce that this is going to create. It's also going to hold the moisture in as it cooks, and it's going to make a really good au jus that we can actually use in making our sauce once we're all done with this. Now we want to keep this as tightly wrapped as we can. We don't want to steam it more than we have to, but we do want to steam it a little bit. So we're going to bring this guy back down here. We're going to continue cooking these, and we're going to check every hour until the temperature gets to about 203. We're going to then pull them. Let's get this up here so you can see me. We're going to then pull them, take them out of the foil. We're going to put them on our cutting board, and we're going to let them rest for about an hour, hour and a half. Let all the juices come back to the middle, just like you would a brisket. Now on a larger brisket that's 12 pounds, 15 pounds, after it's done cooking, I will obviously let that rest a lot longer. But these pieces of meat, folks, after they've done their thing, they're gonna weigh about 1.5 pounds, 2 pounds, okay? So they don't require as much rest time as do briskets or pork butts for that matter. So we'll come back when we are taking these off and ready to rest them or cut them. Be back in a moment.
Daddy, are those tri-tips ready yet to eat? Can we eat them? You like that barbecue, don't you, Anna? Are you my barbecue baby?
Okay guys, so here's the finished product that we're looking at. This is our tri-tip. You saw the process, how we came to this point, but what I did was I cooked this like a brisket. Again, that's your fat side there. We cooked it fat side down, and we're going to cut this now. And folks, just like a brisket, it does have multi-grain patterns. The brisket flat and the brisket point, the way that the two muscles come together like this, one grain runs this way, one grain runs this way. With the tri-tip, it's all one congruent piece of meat. There is no two pieces, but the grain, I can see, for example, this grain is running this way, and it appears that this grain is running this way. So just like a brisket, I'm gonna cut this in about the halfway mark, okay? Now remember, this was smoked like a brisket. This is not cooked like a lot of people would do. So you can see the beautiful smoke ring there. See the juice coming out of there. Oh yeah, babe. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna cut against the grain as you would typically do. And I can see the grain is running this way. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut my medallions this way. Would help if I had a sharper knife. And you know what? I do have a sharper knife. Hang on one second. My knife that my girl bought me. Proper carving knife. So we're going to continue in the same manner. Oh yeah, much easier. And you can see this looks very much like a brisket. And just like with a brisket, you want to have it the bend test, right? You want to have it bend but don't break. So we're going to pull that apart and see how gentle this is. Oh yeah. Oh, that tastes like brisket. Now remember, we had the salt, pepper, garlic, espresso, and just a little bit of chipotle in the rub. Okay. Go ahead and finish cutting this down for us and present this to you so you can kind of see what we're doing here. Okay. See that smoke ring there is very, very pronounced. And what I'm going to do here now is I'm going to drippings. Stay there with your shot. What I'm going to do now is with those drippings that I told you guys that we were very careful to save, we're going to put this on the side as well. our little sauce, our butter and drippings. And of course we had the apple cider vinegar water. And then folks, here you have your au jus for dipping. In which case you would just take this and you would dip it in there. Oh. So guys, thank you very much for watching our video today. Like I said, I've never made a tri-tip before, but folks, you gotta try this. Get it? Tri-tip. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. Remember, hit the like and subscribe button. Hit the bell icon for future notifications. We're trying to grow the channel for you guys, and I promise it's only gonna get better. Barbecue Rockstar out.